For all of human history, humans have strived to go faster than the limits given to them by nature. These attempts have led to the taming of horses, the creation of the steam engine, and finally, flight. But even within the invention of flight, humans are still looking for ways to go beyond the limits of propeller-driven aircraft. That search eventually led to one of the greatest breakthroughs in aerospace history, the jet engine. The idea of jet propulsion wasn't brand new when first engines were built. In fact, the concept had been imagined for centuries, as far back as 1st century AD with Hero of Alexandria, when he designed a device called the aeopile, which used steam escaping through nozzles to spin a sphere. It was more of a curiosity than a practical engine, but it showed that thrust can be created by directing exhaust. Fast forward to the late 1800s and early 1900s, when powered flight was just beginning. Engineers realized that propellers simply were acting like rotating wings and had limits in terms of speed and altitude. Aircraft engines were becoming heavier and less efficient, and new ideas were needed. Several visionaries began experimenting with its alternative propulsion concepts, laying the groundwork for jet power. One of the earliest serious proposals came from French engineer René Laurent in 1913, who suggested a ramjet. His design had imagined compressing air by the forward speed of the aircraft, mixing it with the fuel and igniting. While the concept was sound, there was no way at the time to build an aircraft fast enough to make the ramjet work. Another leap forward came from Maxime Guillaume, a French engineer who in 1921 patented a design for a turbojet. His design included many core parts of a modern jet engine: a compressor to squeeze air, a combustion chamber to burn fuel, and a turbine to power the compressor. However, like Laurent, Guillaume lacked the materials and funding to make it a reality. The first person to truly push the idea into a working design was Sir Frank Whittle, a Royal Air Force officer in 1930. While Whittle passed his turbojet engine, which closely resembled what we know today: a multi-stage compressor at the front, combustion chambers in the middle, and a turbine at the back for driving the compressor. While Whittle faced enormous skepticism and struggled for years to find support, but his persistence kept the idea alive. Meanwhile, in Germany, Hans von Ohen, working independently, was also pursuing the same dream. Von Ohen's early experiments with early jet prototypes convinced aircraft manufacturer Ernst Heinkel to support him. This partnership led to the world's first successful jet-powered flight on August 27, 1939, with the Heinkel HE-178. Not long after, Britain made its own breakthrough on May 15, 1941, when Whittle's design finally flew in the Gloster E-28-39. Both men had arrived at the same solution, though by very different paths, and together they are remembered as the fathers of the jet engine. So how does the jet engine actually work? In simple terms, it pulls air in, compresses it, mixes it with fuel, and then ignites it. The burning mixture shoots out the back as a high-speed jet of gas, and that creates thrust to push the plane forward. This design allowed planes to fly much faster and higher than aircraft ever could. During the time these jet engines saw creation, the world was entering World War II, and both Germany and Britain saw jet engines as a way to build faster, more powerful aircraft. In fact, many of the early developments were kept secret during the war. Only later did the jet engine become widely recognized as one of the most revolutionary advances in aviation. But this achievement didn't come out of nowhere. It was made possible by metallurgy, which created new heat-resistant metals, aerodynamics, which improved the airflow and design and thermodynamics, which explain how to use the heat and pressure inside the engine. Precision machining of compressor blades and turbines made it also possible to build the engine that could run at incredible speeds without tearing themselves apart. The impact of the jet engine was massive. Militarily, it led to the rise of jet engines like the German Me-262 in World War II, and later the American F-86 Sabre during the Cold War. For civilians, it eventually led to airliners such as the Boeing 707, which made long-distance travel faster and easier than ever. Every time a commercial airliner takes off today, it is using the technology that began with these early jet engines.